Hi, this is the podcast of the open-minded. My name is Roberto, and
I am Alejandro.
today we're going to be talking about our gym experiences and everything in general. Just the stories or what we've been through going to the gym.
With the start of this new year, many of you have most likely have started a New Year's resolution, many of which could be starting a fitness goal. Would you like to talk about your gym experience?
So how I started going to the gym is just basically my brother would force me to go because I was getting too fat. Pretty much right after I graduated from high school. I didn't do any sports. I would just run in the mountains and trails, ride my bicycle, go to places on a bike because I didn't have a car at the moment. So yeah, that's the only physical thing I would do. And I was pretty much getting tired of it, so I didn't really do it as often as I did. So pretty much right after high school, I weighed 150 or so. And then from there, I just started gaining more weight from just not doing much. And I went up to probably 175. And that's when my brother was noticing. He was like, "Hey, dude," I'm like, You're getting a bit too fat, dude. You should go to the gym or do something." So what we did, we joined 24-hour fitness, and I would go there, not really knowing what I was doing, just doing the basic things. So benching, squatting. I was afraid of deadlifting because I heard many stories of people messing up their backs or tearing their bicep. So I didn't really do deadlifting that much. But yeah, I would start off with just in the cardio machine and then just picking up weights here and there because at least growing up, in high school, I was in wrestling and all that stuff, and I couldn't even bench the bar
So,
for benching.
how would you say your very first day at a 24-hour fitness was? Your very first day at a gym?
To me, it was very intimidating. I'm not really a social person, so I didn't really go around asking people, what should I do, or what form should I have when I got bench or I squat or do anything. So since I'm somewhat of an introvert, I just looked up the information for myself. Just go on YouTube, see videos. I think the first person I started seeing was Christian Guzman's videos and Matt Ogus. And then from there, I started seeing Bobber Brigade, Bart Kwan and a lot of stuff, and just seeing how they squat because I was pretty interested in powerlifting. So my first workout, I never really had a trainer. Up to this day, I still haven't had a trainer. Pretty much my workouts, I just developed them myself and help with my brothers because he had more experience working out than I did, and he was the one that basically started telling me that I was getting fat, and because of him I joined the gym. And yeah, pretty much whatever information I got from him, I started making my own modifications to the workouts and kept what I liked and what I didn't, and worked on my forms by seeing YouTubers and how they lifted, look at the mirror. Pretty much I like working in front of the mirror so I could see my form, and up to see my form, and up to this day I still work out in front of the mirror. It sort of looks conceited in a way, I think, because I'm always looking at myself working out, but it's pretty much just to check my form out and just to see that I'm doing it properly, because like my brother, I think at the moment he lived in Massachusetts. He was going to university over there, so he couldn't train me as much as I would like. And yeah, so pretty much that's what I started doing, working out in front of a mirror and just correcting myself. And then I started getting bored of going to 24-hour fitness. Started getting bored, and basically I quit going to 24-hour fitness, and I joined Crunch Fitness because it was much cheaper and I could bring in people for free.
Wait, so what was your reason behind uh, what caused you to get bored from 24-hour fitness?
Um, it's not really. It's probably just the environment, and like yeah, like I'm like this like sort of like scrawny, somewhat fat kid just working out, and then seeing everybody there, like not everybody but a lot of people there like knew what they were doing. And since like I like being in my own zone, like just seeing like bigger buffer people sort of like intimidated me from continue going there. So like I went to like a cheaper gym where pretty much everybody or the majority of the people looked like me. And yeah, like, and plus it was closer, and I had I had like I could bring in people for free. So that's when I started bringing you in there. I started bringing in my brother Alex to work out because like he was I don't remember well, but I think at the moment he wasn't going to school. He took a year off.
No, when I started going to the gym was after I finished going to a summer program in Laverne, in the University of Laverne. It was a business camp, and it was during the summer going into senior year. So it was a 3 week program. So I basically had the rest of my summer break to myself, without an idea of what exactly I was gonna do with the rest of my time. So that's when when you enrolled into, I think you had like a month already attending Crunch, and you like you said, you had a pass where you could take someone for free as many days as you want. And that was when you began to invite me, and I decided to go the very first day. It was pretty nerve-wracking because it was the very first time I probably lifted weight. I remember once at a party, you told me to lift a barbell from a bench, and I was struggling lifting the barbell. And so returning to that, going to the gym for the first time, I didn't know what I was doing. I had my brother. He had some experience, so he was teaching me some workouts. And once I got to the gym, it was nerve-wracking for the reason that there was people. I heard people grunting, screaming, slamming their weights on the floor. I've never been in such an environment. It wasn't like if I wasn't invited, but it was just too much for me to take in at that moment. And I think I just went 2 days, and I completely stopped for I think 2 to 3 weeks. And throughout those 2 to 3 weeks, you began to tell me, oh, look, I could take a person for free. You should come. You have weights. There's a squat rack. There's a bench. There's so much stuff you could do in the gym. And you have the rest of your summer break to yourself. So what you're going to do? Might as well go to the gym. So I just got annoyed of him continuously pressuring me and telling me why I should start going. So I started going, and when I returned, that nervousness sort of went away after, I'd say, 2 weeks, and I began to just get accustomed to lifting weights. But it was pretty difficult for him because he would try to teach me, and I would get annoyed when he would correct me on my form. Oh, like you're squatting wrong. You're bending your back too much. You need to tighten up your lats. I found it very annoying being corrected so much. So I wouldn't listen to him. I would get pissed and just walk away. And after maybe like a couple of months, I began to like it. I began to enjoy it, because when I began to go to the gym, I was weighing around 115, 120. I'm not so sure.
Skinny.
I was very skinny, and yeah, after a good amount of time, I enjoyed going to the gym. And instead of him asking me, "Oh, let's go to the gym," I began to tell him, "Oh, like, when are we going to the gym again? And what time are you going? Should we go at this time? What workouts are we gonna do?" And yeah, after that, I began to like it. And at the beginning, I began to take protein and pre-workout.
Mm-hmm.
And after, I think, half a year, that's when I began to take creatine. So I was taking protein, creatine, and pre-workout. And after a while, I began to watch videos of people who fitness gurus who go to the gym, and I began to watch their workouts, watch their form, and that's when I began tweaking and fixing some aspects that were
Bothering you?
that were bad. My form, I remember I had a lot of trouble squatting.
Yeah, I remember.
Yeah, when I would lean the barbell on my back, on my upper back, I would lean more to one side, and it wasn't that good because I could fall over and with the barbell, and yeah.
And this is like what you never understood. That's why I was
Yeah.
always correcting you, because yeah, of course, I don't want you to get hurt. Like I got hurt from like not doing things properly, like from wrestling to like pole vaulting. So like I didn't want you to go through that, because I've hurt myself badly before. Not to like the point where like, yeah, I should have gone to the doctor, but it was like manageable. The pain was manageable for me. So like, yeah, I didn't want you to go through that. So like that's why I would always correct you, but of course you would get mad, and
Yeah.
probably you sort of thought you had sort of like some, like, he was like, "Oh, this is my brother. Why are you telling me to do it this specific way?" I'm like, "Nah, dude, I don't want you to get hurt."
Yeah, I didn't like getting I didn't like it. I didn't like it when you were correcting me, and I would get annoyed. And so after like a year, like I said, when I started going to the gym, I weighed around 115, and after about a year, I went up to 170, 165, 170.
It's just pretty much like the beginner gains, because usually when you join a gym, since you're not used to like working out, you'll gain a bunch of muscle, because you're just all of a sudden you're using this muscle which you've never used before. And you just, at least from my understanding, you like your muscle will start swelling up, like consume more nutrients, put more nutrients into your muscle, and get much heavier and bigger.
Well,
So
yeah,
that's
with
why, like in the beginning, like a lot of people that start working out see changes right away. And like of course, as like years goes on, like after like training for years and years, you'll get less and less. And yeah, so like that's why he shot up from whatever you weighed,
115.
115 or 120,
Yeah.
to like 170, and you didn't really understood it that well. You didn't really understood it. You were just like, oh man, I'm getting fat. I'm getting fat from working out. And I'm like, no, like, you're not getting fat. I'm like, no, but I'm heavier now. I'm like, no, it's I tried explaining it to him. um I think you didn't really understand it in the beginning too, when I started explaining to you why you gained all this weight. And yeah, like pretty much, at least for me, like I saw, like at least for me, like seeing the beginner gains, I didn't really get much because I already had a lot of fat. I already had a lot of fat, like, so pretty much I would like I lost some or the majority of my fat and then and replaced it with muscle. So like I didn't really see that spike in my, like, in my weight and how much I weighed. And like yeah, if you see like difference between you and me, I'm like I pretty much stayed at 175 for like about 2 to 3 years of working out. And then all of a sudden I went up to like 190, 194. I think that was like my average weight for a while.
But what would you say caused you to continue attending the gym? Was it more like an intrinsic motivation, which would be you feeling better, you feeling more healthy, or more of extrinsic motivation where it's more like people are praising your physique, recognition? What would you say it was more of, or was it sort of like in between both? It was extrinsic and intrinsic motivation.
I think well, it wasn't like I started or I continued going because of the praise. Um because I think like now seeing back at it, like now seeing like how I started and all that stuff. Pretty much I think I started working out just to get my mind off of like, because I was stuck. I was stuck just thinking about my friend for a while. Like because she committed suicide. So like pretty much I use the gym to distract me and keep my mind off of that. And it felt good not thinking of her constantly. And yeah, like pretty much felt good and pretty much started seeing the changes. I didn't really care like of like people like being like, oh, you're getting bigger or this and that. Like yeah, it's nice getting that recognition, but um it's just I started feeling much healthier too. Feeling much healthier, and then eventually like eventually when like I started working out not just to keep my friend off of my mind. Pretty much like I started getting a goal. Like I think my first goal was to reach like just to lift more weights, because um I started getting into like powerlifting. So pretty much lifting as much weight as you can. Um Pretty much my primary goal was to reach 500 and in a squat. Pretty much like the max that I got to was 460, I think. And yeah, like pretty much That was my goal to hit 500 by the end of the year. Didn't really achieve that. Um, didn't really achieve that. I got 406. I pretty much the max was 460 pounds that I lifted, and the reason why I stopped working towards that goal was because I got a new job and felt way more tired to like lift that much because it's very taxing to me. Like I felt it like it was really taxing on my body. Like just just having a week or just like a day, like days in a week that I would just lift my max and then just try regaining just relaxing as much because like at least in my new job I still work there. I started work like I worked there for 12 hours instead of 8. So like I felt like if I didn't have enough time to recover after lifting like my max or testing my max. Um so like after that like I just went more like I just started shifting my goal towards just having a nicer body. So like bodybuilding, like one of my goals nowadays is that I want to compete in a bodybuilding competition. So what's keeping me from like continuing to work out because I have 6 years working out now. I think it's like around 6 years or seven. Um, because I started working out before my 21st birthday, and I just been working out.
But
Like
do
you know,
you is that still a goal to compete in like you said physique
hmm
competitions?
it's still a goal, but I think now that I'm getting older, like I don't like I feel just working on like bodybuilding and like of course the hours that I still work it's still pretty taxing for me. It's still pretty taxing for me, but like yeah, like of course that's why I still like I take pre-workout for that reason too, just to have like that extra motivation, or if not like once in a while I'll go for like a non supplement like use month where I'll just like stop months. I'll just stop taking pre-workout, protein, creatine, and pretty much my pre-workout would just be a scoop of coffee. Like just taking just the coffee grinds, putting it in my mouth, and just taking it out because at least I felt like in my stomach when I'm working out, I'll constantly get that caffeine boost from like the coffee grinds being in my stomach and getting dissolved. So at least I don't know if it's like a placebo thing, but at least to me it works. Um, and yeah, like pretty much like yeah, that's what like keeps me from like quitting and just having in my mind that like if I quit, I'm losing all the progress I've made.
And
Because like yeah, like at least the lowest I ever was like in high school was 135. Right now, I think the last time I weighed myself, I was 218, and like yeah, and like it's sort of I think it's somewhat of a pride thing too because I am like at least in my family or my extended family, the biggest one.
yeah, I'd say I'd agree with that. But right now, was your how's your fitness right now? How's it going? Are you experiencing any obstacles?
Well, yeah, it's just I think like the main obstacle now is just like finding that motivation to go. Like because sometimes like yeah, like I work 12 hours. I tend to not sleep as much. Growing up, I never really slept as much too. So like as a little kid, I was fine with like 6 or 4 hours. Like I was fine with that, and like I would just wake up, probably just eat breakfast, go on a bike ride, or just the usual things that we like at least growing up I did with my brothers. Um, so like yeah, like pretty much now I don't really need that much sleep, but sometimes like the sleep does catch up to me. Like well, not the sleep, but like the tiredness catches up to me, and like those days are the days that I'm like I don't want to hit the gym at all. I just want to stay home, probably play video games or just enjoy my day off or enjoy the rest of the day until I have to go back to work. Um, yeah, and like those days are the days where, like, yeah, like pretty much before I get stuck in that mindset, I'll just go right away, go to the cabinet, go to the cabinet, get my pre workout, and just drink my pre workout because like I feel all this energy in my body, and I'm like, okay, yeah, I have to go to the gym now. I have to go. And in that way, like that's where like I'll get myself out of that like mental like that laziness mental block. I think is the proper way of saying it. Get myself out of there and yeah, actually hit the gym. And yeah, like at least to me, that's how I that's how I fight that.
And are you taking any supplements right now? What type of supplements, if you're taking, what type of supplements are you taking, and what effect have you noticed on your body from taking those supplements?
Like right now, I'm not like well, I don't really well at least when I started working out, I did take I did take protein pre workout. I think there's this other one that I would take, glutamine. I think yeah, glutamine. I think that's what it was. Glutamine, creatine, and a bunch of other things because like that's what they sold me, and like to me like that's what they sold me, and like at least not knowledgeable in that, so like I'm pretty sure they take advantage of that too. They're like, oh yeah, you know, you could like you know if you take protein or you take this thing, you'll gain 6 pounds of muscle in a week. And of course that's what I wanted. So like I would take all these things, and then like now that now that I'm like more knowledgeable in that because like I have like 6 years. I say I don't know everything, but like the little or the what I know, it's because I've experienced it. And like yeah, like pretty much all I take here and there. Like right now I'm not taking it at all, but I do take creatine. At least to me, like it makes my body feel better and all that stuff. And at least from what I've read, like it gets you like you'll look more muscular because your body retains that water.
Mm-hmm.
It retains water into like it'll get the water that you drink or that you're consuming monthly or daily or whatever it is, and it'll retain it in your muscle so you look bigger too. And I have noticed that whenever I'm on it or whenever I just completely cut it out. Like right now I completely cut it out, and I've even told my brother, I'm like, hey dude, I'm like I feel like if now I look a bit smaller because I haven't been taking it for like about 2 months maybe around there. And yeah, like pretty much like I only take pre workout, and then I'll cut that off too and just have like a scoop of just raw grind coffee. Yeah, so creatine like yeah, like it I felt like if I could work out better on it too. but like pretty much like right now I'm like sort of in a cleansing stage. Like, but I do take pre-workout for like those days that I do feel really tired. Um, and yeah, like, and I do like, and of course I take multivitamins because that helps out too. Because like, yeah, like of course working out for so long and like your joints will get tired. So like I take multivitamins and like glucosamine. Glucosamine like tends like it helps you out with your joints too, because like imagine having carrying all that weight and like carrying all the weights like that I use to press or like bench or whatever it is. Um, will be it's a little taxing for your joints, and of course I want to continue working out for years and years. So yeah, like I do use that for that, and yeah, and then like at least for like I do like right now I sleep very little, but like I stopped using what is it called? It's like I used to use some sleeping pills. I forgot what they're called.
Melatonin.
Melatonin. Yeah, I used to use melatonin. Um, but like I've started like I read up on it. Like I took it for years and years. Um, but I read up that like it creates like blank spots in your mind, so like you won't remember things. It'll just be a blank, and like that sort of freaked me out a little bit, and so like I just completely cut it off. I cut it off because I was using way too much just to fall to sleep. And when I would wake up all like groggy and mad at everyone. So yeah, like I reduced my dosage and just cut it off. And then right now, I started using CBD now that like weed is legal and all that stuff. Because I pretty much drink only. I don't smoke or do drugs. Um, and yeah, like now that that's legal, I started getting CBD oil, but the one that has no THC because I don't want to have like I don't know how it's called, but like the hallucinogenic effect
Mm-hmm.
of
Yeah.
THC. And yeah, just to help me sleep because I wasn't really getting good quality sleep. And now with CBD, like I feel like if I could sleep 2 hours, and at least when I take the CBD, it feels like if I slept for 6 or more. I feel more like relaxed with the little sleep that I get. And yeah, and you've been pretty much against like using any supplements. I think the only supplement that you take here and there is just
Well,
protein, right?
well, I'm not against consuming any supplements, but it was just a personal decision that yeah, I just decided to stop consuming protein, creatine, pre-workout. It's more I wanted to get myself to stop being dependent on the supplements and just getting it from my diet, like eating more nuts in the morning. The only thing I eat in the morning is either a coffee, which I drink once a week. Now I started to drink tea because I don't want to become dependent on the caffeine from the coffee. And so I accompany my cup of tea with a bagel with a spread of peanut butter and a little bit of honey on the top.
Just to sweeten it, natural
Yeah,
sugars.
and with that, I feel very energized. I feel ready to go to the gym or go to school. But yeah, I get most of my protein from eating chicken. I stopped eating red meat.
I can't stop eating red meat,
Yeah.
dude. I love red meat.
it wasn't so difficult. For me, it wasn't so difficult. I remember back then. Well, my father, he brings us a lot of steak. Right, he likes eating
Mm.
steak.
Like just beef flanks or like carne asada and stuff. And then recently he started like bringing steak, like big chunks of
Yeah,
steak. Because like yeah, growing up we were used to just eating like beef flanks. I think that's what they're called.
yeah.
Uh, and yeah, because like at least us being Mexican, we love our carne asada, and at least yeah, that's what like the only time we would have meat, or if not with like ground beef and stuff like that. Like we would only have carne asada and ground beef in our stuff because we're not much of like a red meat eating family. I think you could say that. Um, and just primarily just chicken throughout the week and on like special occasions or here and there. That's when we'll get beef or like when we would invite people.
So going back to the steak, I remember I would eat 2 pieces of steak, 2 big pieces of steak, sometimes even 3. And yeah, I just, for personal reasons, I decided just to stop eating red meat because I want to cut more weight. I want to cut fat. And that's why I introduced cardio. I do 2 days of cardio in 1 week. So the weekends, I do 2 hours of cardio. On the weekends, I usually start with 30 minutes on the treadmill, increasing the incline and the speed. And then after that, I go to a bicycle. I do another 30 minutes and increase the speed after a minute and 30 seconds. And after that, I stretch out. I stretch out my legs, my calves, in order to get that blood flowing to the rest of my muscles. And after I stretch out, I do 30 minutes of the staircase. Was it the staircase master? Right.
Then you added the staircase recently, right?
Yeah, and I do either the staircase master or 30 minutes of the on a rowing machine, and to finish off, I do 30 minutes on the elliptical. So yes, like going back to our gym experience. After, what was it? Maybe a year and a half going to Crunch, right?
Mm-hmm.
We enrolled onto a Gold Gym because we had previously visited the gym. We got like a week, right? A
Yeah,
week
we
pass.
got like a week pass and we liked it. We like now I wasn't really intimidated of all those like buff people, like people bigger than me, and like those people that like will like bro lift and stuff. Because and so like I wasn't really as intimidated, and I was like able to I'm like oh yeah like it's fine. Like I saw it more as a motivational thing. Like because I want to get bigger, I want to look a little bit like them. I don't want to get like really buff, like Olympic bodybuilding buff, but just wanted to look better. And I wasn't really intimidated as much, and so was my brother too. My brother, like I felt like if we would go to Gold's Gym, like pretty much everybody knew what they were doing, and like we might feel judged or whatever it was. And like now that we had more knowledge in lifting and just I don't know like gym going in general, we had like a better experience. We had better time going there, and yeah, like pretty much like the equipment was way better too. Like it was more well maintained, and yeah, like it motivated us. Like this is around the time where I wanted to lift 500 pounds because I remember there was this like Russian, like he looks Russian to me. I'm not sure what he is, but he's like this Russian dude. He's like tatted up, and somehow he would like go onto the bench and like lift 5 plates or like around like 500 pounds in a bench. And I'm just like, damn, that's incredible. Like, that's at least what I want to lift with my legs, because that is my strongest thing. Like, my legs are really strong. I feel like if it's from like I feel like if it's from like growing up, I would always ride up. I would always ride bikes with my younger brother. He's like a little bit older than Alex. Um, that's how I feel like if I sort of like naturally was stronger on my legs for that reason of like riding bikes throughout all the years growing up. And yeah, just like seeing everybody lift more than me like motivated me to lift more. And yeah, I wanted to accomplish that. And of course, I already said like why I stopped, like going towards that goal and where I'm at right now. And
And
yeah,
when that was when we after a year at a Gold's Gym, after a year and a half, that's when we split up. Uh, well, Robert had a different schedule. It was completely different than mine.
I think this is when you started working at the job where I'm at right now.
No, but after that was a while. You started you had a different schedule at was it McDonald's, right?
Oh yeah.
And that's
Yeah,
when
this is when I was working at
we
McDonald's.
parted ways. And that's when I began to look at videos and set up my own workouts and my own schedule. But before that, I was once I began to really get into fitness was when I was diagnosed with hyperthyroidism, which is when your thyroid gland in your basically where your what do you call it, the Adam's apple.
Yeah, Adam's apple.
It's where your Adam's apple is, and that the thyroid gland, it produces hormones that regulate your metabolism. It could with hyperthyroidism is it's you basically produce so much of that hormone that you begin to lose weight. And there's another one also called that's called hypothyroidism, where you produce less. So in that case, you would gain a lot of weight. And so I didn't freak out at the moment. I was just, oh well, I have to do some changes. I have to go more to the gym. I have to eat more. I have to consume more protein in order to regulate my weight, so I wouldn't continuously lose weight. So I would eat more than 3 meals a day.
Mm-hmm.
And when my dad would bring steak or my mom would cook chicken, I would eat more. I would eat a larger serving than probably Robert. And after a while, my thyroid gland it regulated with medication and
Just eating well.
yeah, eating well. So after a while, yeah, I began to work out by myself. I began to see, since I was working out by myself, I began to see my form, and that's when I decided, oh well, I don't want to get big. So that's when I stopped eating meat, and I stopped consuming creatine, pre-workout, and protein. So after that, I cut down to, right now I'm weighing around 145, 150 in between. And I just wanted to have a better, more flexibility. I wanted to be faster. I didn't want to weigh so much. So
Yeah, it's like you're more of a functional. You work out to be more functional than, at least for me, to be bigger.
yeah. Well, yeah, it's that, and since I'm a nursing major, I'm taking all these courses involved with the human body, and I, on my own, I research a little bit. Yeah, basically supplements I need to take right now. I just take multivitamins. I just started taking multivitamins. I don't.
And just your tea, I think.
Yeah, and just my tea, and coffee once a while, once a week. That's it. But yeah, now right now I train with a couple of people.
You train, I think.
I train them. We do a couple of workouts, training them with just the way I work out. My way of lifting, it went from more like powerlifting, and it went towards form. So now I'm focusing more on my form. My form in squatting has gotten a lot better, because I also saw this video with I think his name is Stan. Yes, his name is Stan Efferding. He's well known for this very good diet he has called the vertical diet. So I was watching a video with him and Juji Mofu.
Very trending, I think.
What was that?
It's very trending.
Yeah.
The vertical diet.
Yeah, it's many people on YouTube use it. People who work out. So yeah, I was watching the video with Stan Efferding and Juji Mofu, and he was telling Juji Mofu how he was squatting once, and an Olympic squatter went up to him and he told him, "Oh, your form is completely wrong. It's not good. You're gonna blow out your knees in maybe a year or less." And he was showing him how, instead of that, he uses more like a lower position, the bar.
Lower bar position.
Yeah, he's a more lower bar position, and he triggers more of his glutes. So he just brings out his glutes more, and it's basically his torso is like almost touching his thighs.
It's basically like, it looks like a chair.
Yeah. Yeah, your body basically looks like a chair. And yeah, once I started doing that, I felt the effect right away. After I squat, once I'm done squatting, I feel my glutes are very tight, and I feel it's less focused on your knees than your legs. And yeah, I began to try more stuff. So I also pay attention a lot to my body, so feelings, signals I get from my body. I remember I was doing side bends for the obliques. I was doing it on. Do you know what's that platform called? Where
is the one? Is that the little like bench or whatever it is? That where you do the what is it, the incline, the vertical, no, not vertical, that angle, pullovers or back pulls or something.
Well,
Sure.
It's basically
The bent over things.
Yes, so it's basically a platform where you put your legs in between, and there's basically two leather pads, just squeezing your legs together.
And basically it just holds your legs, and like your crotch in place. And then like you just arch back, arch forward, and like, yeah, basically like bend over. You just bend over and arch back to lift weights or stuff, and like you could do it to your sides too. So
for the obliques,
you could work on your obliques on that machine. And
so talking about that, I would work out my obliques. I would do side bends or side bend overs, And after a while, I began to feel a problem in my knee, maybe a meniscus problem. And after that, I stopped using it, and I just switched to standing bend over, and
Mm-hmm.
I had no problems with my knee. And also, I would do Russian twist, and I stopped doing it because I began to feel back pain,
Mm-hmm.
and I just I just replaced it with standing side bends or cable side bends. Yeah, so like I basically, when I get a signal from my body,
That something's hurting.
yeah, I take a
Like basically stop and analyze it well.
yeah, because I don't want that to turn into serious injury or anything, because I think right now I've only had one injury. It was just I think it was I possibly overextended my abductor, and for a month I stopped squatting and leg pressing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and then talking about injuries, um, I did injure myself badly. It was just like one day. I think this is before I wanted to reach my 500 goal, right? I think that's around where it was. Like before I wanted to reach my 500 pound squat goal. I was squatting, and I was squatting two plates without any knee sleeves or belt and all that stuff, and then like with a horrible form too, because I was still trying to get it down. I was still trying to get down like how to squat better and having a better form in squatting and all that stuff. And I injured my knee. I already had like a knee injury before from wrestling. Like basically I was wrestling my brother, and then all of a sudden like my brother's holding the bottom part of my leg, like where your calf is, and I was basically trying to get out from like a lower position or an under position. I forgot exactly what it was. And just like I was trying to get out and twist, but since my brother was holding the lower part of my leg, I just felt something move or snap. I don't know what it was, and I just fell to the floor and had a lot of pain. And just I think I got my knee wrapped, and I had to get my knee wrapped every time I was gonna wrestle too, because I wanted to continue wrestling. To me, it was like the best thing ever. I love wrestling because like at least how I saw it is the only sport where you could legally fight or hurt someone.
Well,
Um,
other than mixed martial
yeah,
arts
other than
or
mixed martial arts and stuff,
taekwondo, etc.
and that was available like in my school, so of course I would do it. Um, so yeah, like I got injured that I already had like an injury on that same knee that I messed up doing squatting. But yeah, like I was basically squatting, and I heard a loud noise coming from my knee, and I just couldn't step at all. I couldn't step at all, and I think we just stopped squatting that day. We stopped squatting that day, and I think you sort of had to like support my weight too, right?
Yeah, I think
Going out of the gym,
yeah.
like he was supporting my weight from like one side, and like yeah, pretty much like I felt terrible. I felt terrible because I'm like, man, I'm like I am working out. I'm trying to look better and stuff, and like this injury just messed me up. I can't do this anymore. And so when I started like basically I would take my brother to his elementary school, and it's just I think it's not even a mile away. Probably like a quarter mile walk to his school, and I couldn't even walk that. Like I remember there was this old guy with a walker, and he was walking faster than me, and I felt terrible because I am this young guy. I'm this young guy that can't walk faster than this old guy that even has a walker. And so yeah, like pretty much I started since I couldn't lift, I was just working on my upper body. I would wear I would wear a knee sleeve all the time, just compression like knee sleeves, just to help me out, so I could like stay standing for a while, for a couple of hours, because I was at this time I was working at McDonald's. I think at this time I was a manager there. I was a shift manager there, and yeah, like I had to stand for long periods of time, and I used that for a while until I started getting better. And I didn't introduce squatting or working out on my legs for the longest time for that reason, until I started working out with a friend of mine. And oh, she wanted to run too, so like I would run, and like I think sort of get used to like the movement in my leg, and started moving my knee more and more. And since I wasn't really squatting, I was investigating how to do a better form, like how to work on my form, what felt more comfortable. And yeah, like pretty much what sort of got me through that time was just running. I would push myself to run faster, to run better, until I recovered from my knee. And of course, I started like working on my form. I started extremely light. I didn't really care like if people see me. I'm like, oh, this dude. I'm like, he looks bigger than me, but he can't, like, he's only squatting just a bar. And I'm like, no, it's like it can't really be like an ego thing anymore. You can't ego lift. And then that's when I got stopped ego lifting too. Like pretty much ego lifting is just to lift, to get like a confidence or an ego boost. That's what ego lifting is. And so yeah, like I would always start off very light in any workout, because I didn't want to get injured again. I'm not sure if it was I'm not sure if I got injured because I didn't warm up, or like my form. But yeah, like pretty much started working out on everything, like investigated, like worked on my form, got better, and I was able to pass like my highest squat, at least before I got injured. And like pretty much I felt if everything was moving much smoother. And yeah, and then like that's when I was like, okay, I think my knee is way better than it was before, and I am gonna try to get the 500 goal. And at least to me, that was the biggest injury I've had at the gym.
Yeah, with me it's just that I overextended my adductor, but after that I haven't had any injury, anything serious, because like I said, now my main focus is my form, and I basically warm up with very low weights. If I'm doing dumbbell bench press, I start with like 20, and then I go up to either 50 or 60 sometimes. And yeah, and like there's sometimes people ask me, oh, like why are you doing that? Like why are you doing that very low weight?
I know you can lift heavier.
Like are you weak? Like that's all you're lifting? And I was like, no, like that's how I warm up.
Mm-hmm.
That's how I avoid
getting injured.
Yeah, getting injured, because out of nowhere my body's cold, and I'm putting my muscles are cold, and out of nowhere I'm lifting, I'm benching, I'm dumbbell benching
like over
60
pounds.
I'm gonna tear my pec. And yeah, basically I in between workouts I do flexibility work. I stretch out my legs, my arms, my pecs, in order to avoid an injury.
Mm-hmm. That's what I started doing too with squatting. Like I would, I never stretched back then. I would just go in, I start lifting, increase the weight, lift more without like stretching. And then like now like I don't know, I guess like it's like I don't know if it's a saying, but like wisdom comes with time. And like yeah, like now that we have more time, we're like working out. We live smarter. We live smarter, not we don't live to like impress anybody. We just live to reach our goal because like at least like yeah, like we don't live to impress anybody. We live to live longer.
Yeah. So yeah, that's what I do. I just anything that's every when my body sends me a signal, I just pay attention and find out from where it's coming from, and I just stop. I don't ego lift. Yeah, I just basically warm up with small weights, and I build up to reaching my max. So, and right now I've introduced pyramids and drop sets for the very last set. Yeah, and since it's a new year, there's many people. Well, the gyms are very packed with people. What do you think's going on that like after maybe a month, two or more, or maybe less, people stop going?
Like personally, I feel like if it's just like life gets in between them. So like I don't know if they have kids or they have a girlfriend, a boyfriend, or whatever that's keeping him from like committing to it. And then like some of them see how hard it is
Yeah.
because a lot of people haven't a lot of people like don't work out daily like us. um they go in there and then like they start feeling sore, they start feeling tired, and they don't know that you have to build up to it.
Yeah.
Because like now like if we don't live for like a day or two or more, like we don't feel like we have that much energy anymore.
That's it.
Like actually going to the gym gives us more energy.
It's a work in progress. Sometimes people just expect the results to come in,
And you have to build up to it.
yeah, like they expect sometimes some people they expect the results to come in a week, or like my bicep is getting bigger. I'm growing a bigger chest, my back. I can see my traps now. And yeah, like you said, it's the people have work to deal with, children, bills to pay. It's a lot of things, but I'd say it's
Just
very
keep your mind to it, I think.
it's very good to see results. It's good. Like once in a while, once you when you're in the restroom or you take a shower, just like seeing the results in your body.
Just look at yourself.
Yeah,
Look at yourself in the mirror, and then like you'll see like, damn, I look good, or damn, that looks bigger, or something. I'm like, and at least that'll keep you to working towards your goal that you want to achieve. Like I don't know, like let's say I wanna lose 20 pounds by the end of this year or something. I'm like, have like progress photos so you can see the changes that you're going through. And I'm like, okay, I'm like, damn, like from this month to that month, I'm like my gut has gotten smaller, or I got better legs now, or stuff like that. Like it'll keep
more.
you. Yeah, it'll keep you from quitting, and always remember like why you started.
Well, like now it's the way. One reason I continue now is for health, because now I'm researching more, I'm learning more, and yeah, that's why I also introduced cardio. Cardio, it's not I feel it's a misunderstanding people have on cardio, that like cardio's for losers.
Or you'll lose muscle if
yeah,
you do
you lose
cardio.
muscle with cardio. It's just a big misunderstanding, and there's a lot of criticism around it. I've been doing it for like I think maybe already 3 months or more that I've been doing cardio, and my my heartbeat when I do heavy workouts, very stressful workouts, my heartbeat it it goes back to normal pretty quick, pretty normal, because that's a way you could tell
If you're healthy.
yeah, if your heart is healthy or if you're fit. Basically, if your heart rate goes to say maybe 180, 170, and if it takes a long time to go back down to the normal heartbeat, it would basically mean that um, your heart really isn't that fit, and you need to make some changes, either introduce more cardio in order to do that. But I feel my legs have been toning up more, and I feel it's a good way to lose weight if you're trying to lose weight. I would recommend the staircase. The staircase, it's a workout. It's a workout for your legs, and it's a really good workout to do for cardio.
At least for me, for cardio, like, yeah, you could run like for miles and miles, but like I feel like at least for my body type or what has worked out for me is just going just going on the cardio machine, on the treadmill, and just increasing the height, the angle, the incline of the treadmill, just increasing it all the way up, and just have a consistent speed on it. Because like, of course, like it's like basically going up a mountain. Like you really can't run up the mountain, and like I think at least I feel like if you work out like more like in a strength way, like you work out your quads or your legs
On an incline.
on an incline way better. I feel like if I get a better workout that way too.
Well, like I feel, because I feel people have could connect with me. Maybe like when I'm talking about going to the gym. I feel some people could connect with me in the way that they start going to the gym and they see people lifting very heavy. I feel in many cases they feel intimidated.
I think that's was the reason why a lot of people quit too.
Yeah. Well, that was the reason why I stopped going once I started going to Crunch.
The same reason why I started going to Crunch too.
I felt intimidated because I'm not used to hearing people drop the weights, seeing people lift so much, and in a way, a person could use that as a motivator. Like, oh, like that guy or woman is squatting 2 plates. They're benching a plate or more. I want to do that, so you could just work towards that.
Have a set goal.
Yeah, set a goal and start little by little, and sooner or later you're gonna be close, and most likely, if you're trying very hard, you're gonna get to squatting 2 plates or benching a plate or more. You could use it as a motivator, or you could also use health. What if I have a cardiovascular issue?
Breathing problem.
Yeah, breathing problem, asthma. You could improve it by doing cardio, or maybe criticism. You're trying to prove someone wrong. Someone's saying, "Oh, like you're weak. Like you probably can't lift a gallon of milk." It's just the same criticism people give you. You could use it as a motivator and to prove them wrong.
Yeah. You just end it.
And with that, we conclude our second episode of the podcast of the Open Minded, which was based on my story on fitness and Robert's story on fitness, and yeah, but maybe you guys could use it
as a motivation, or just just a way to, hopefully this motivates you to like go or continue, because like it takes time.
Yeah.
It takes time, and you have to work on it constantly, not just, oh, I feel like if nothing's happening and just quitting.
Yeah, and it's a great feeling internally and externally, seeing results, getting praised by people. So for those of you who have a New Year's resolution, keep that New Year's resolution and continue working on it, and at the end of the day, you're going to see the results, and you're going to feel positive, you're going to feel happy, you're going to have less stress. It could possibly become a passion or a hobby you guys enjoy doing. And yeah, bye.
Bye.